and welcome to the Sportscast, May 30th, 2018. If you haven't yet, please subscribe on YouTube and iTunes. And if you're on iTunes, please leave us a review so it can help us out in the rankings. The NBA Finals are here. Eastern and Western Conference Finals are done. It was a dueling conference finals. Both series went to 7 games. But the final outcome is the same teams for the past 4 years, the Cavs and the Warriors, are back together again. And joining us on the Sportscast, his comeback, Mr. Ty Turner. Welcome back.
My comeback is hilarious. Hey, what's up, man?
So, Ty, East and West has been settled. Your predictions were right.
They were, yeah.
Who do you think will win it now?
Who do you think is going to win the finals?
Yeah, who do you think will win the finals?
Come on, man. You know who's going to win the finals. It's not about thinking. I'm not going to lie. The only suspense is I don't even know what suspense is. Actually, I don't even know what the suspense is. There's really no suspense. I mean, Golden State is. I know LeBron 2 years ago went and beat them in a 7-game series, but he had Kyrie Irving. He got some breaks along the way. Draymond Green gets suspended. Stephen Curry was not even close to 100%. This year, those breaks don't seem to be happening. I mean, you never know. Draymond Green might get suspended. You just never know what happens. Stuff can happen in life. Chris Paul, Chris Paul got injured in Game 5, and that probably, I don't know if speaking on that, before we go on that, I'll stay on topic. I'm going ADD here. I think Golden State wins. I think probably 5 games.
Golden State in 5 games.
Something crazy happens. What did you say?
You said Golden State in 5 games.
Yeah, can you hear me good?
Yes.
You can hear me, okay. Yeah, I said Golden State in 5 games.
I say Golden State in 7 games. You're right. I think Golden State really sneaked out. Do you think if Chris Paul...
7 games?
Yes.
What are you smoking? Like, how is it? How? Explain to me. No. I want you to really think about this right now. You look at both those rosters, and you tell me how it's going to go 7 games.
I think the main reason is that LeBron is playing...
Stephen Curry...
as a freak of nature right now. LeBron James is playing out of his mind. Now everyone's talking that he might be a better player than Michael Jordan, which I disagree. But he's playing a good series. He's hungry, and obviously this is out of
I'm not.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry,
yes, this is out of emotion.
Games.
This is all of emotion. This is pure luck. But I still think Golden State's going to win it. But I mean, seeing how they beat Boston is kind of similar to Golden State in some ways. Obviously, they're younger and they're inexperienced.
You're right. Boston is very similar to Golden State. Boston has no players in the top 20 in the NBA. Golden State has 4. Golden State has arguably 2 of the top 5 players in the NBA, and then you put in Draymond Green and Klay Thompson, who both have been all-stars, I think, every year for the past 4 or 5 years. And you're saying they're similar to Boston. I know that there's probably some good stuff down there in Miami. That is a crazy, crazy comparison. You cannot possibly compare Boston to Golden State. I mean, what Brad Stevens did was remarkable with a roster that didn't have one all-star. They have one up-and-coming player in Jason Tatum. And it was remarkable what he did, not only going to the Eastern Conference Finals, but going 7 games.
I mean, what I said was Boston is a younger, inexperienced compared to Golden State. Yes, similar system, team basketball, likes to shoot and everything. Now, Boston was probably 1 or 2 players away from beating Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, they were. I mean, if they would have had Kyrie Irving, they would have beaten Cleveland.
Easily.
If they would have had Kyrie Irving, they would have beaten Cleveland, yeah.
Or
They're
Hayward.
the Eastern Conference. Yeah, or Gordon Hayward. But he's been gone the whole year, so it's hard to even put him in there. But yeah, for Hayward or Kyrie Irving. But, dude, okay, go on Cleveland's roster. I was just checking it out like a little bit ago. They have nothing but role. It's literally LeBron James and a bunch of just role players that, I mean, Kevin Love is an all-star. He's been injured. Is he even going to be healthy for this series coming up?
I'm going to double check on that. I think he should be. He was under concussion protocol. Status for game one is unknown. Unknown for game one.
All-star. Now he's battled injuries. His production's down. I would say he's barely an all-star player anymore. But the other guys, it is just a bunch of role players. I mean, J.R. Smith, George Hill, Larry Nance Jr., Tristan Thompson. These guys never will make an all-star game.
And you got Jeff Green.
Jeff Green, who's had a remarkable comeback story from his heart surgery. But, I mean, it's remarkable. No, it's remarkable that LeBron James took the NBA Finals. I know people were saying, well, he played Boston, who didn't have Kyrie Irving and stuff. And you know, people always like throwing shade at LeBron. And you're either a huge LeBron fan or you're not a LeBron fan. But LeBron's made 8 straight NBA Finals. And this year in particular, this roster, Tim wouldn't even made the playoffs without LeBron James, let alone the NBA Finals. But, that being said, they're playing Golden State. Golden State has 4 All-Stars. And that's not even talk. Okay, they have 4 All-Stars, but then they have a ton of terrific role players. Better than the role players for Cleveland. I mean, Nick Young can really shoot. Like Quinn Cook is a great backup point. Livingston's a terrific backup point guard. Most teams would love to have him. David West was a former All-Star when he played for the Northern Orleans Pelicans. I mean, their role players are better than Cleveland's role players, and that's not counting all the All-Stars. That's not counting the best shooter in the NBA, Stephen Curry. That's not counting the second best shooter in the NBA, Kevin Durant. That's not counting the third best shooter in the NBA, Klay Thompson. That's not counting the one, maybe the first or second best defensive player in the NBA and one of the best all-around players in the NBA, Draymond Green. I'm not even counting those guys. I mean, dude, you can't compare them to Boston. Come on, Santiago.
I'm talking about like the team chemistry, team unity. Do you think Andre Iguodala would be a big factor, him missing out, or do you think Golden State can contain LeBron?
Is he out for the whole series?
He's out for game 1 at least.
It's not. The thing is LeBron's going to get his. No one's going to contain him. He's going to score points. But it's just making sure that no one else does. Just let LeBron score 50 points again. For one, he has to get tired. He just did a 7-game series. He's the one completely carrying the team. So LeBron's going to get his. So like, whatever. I mean, put whatever you want. Who's going to be guarding him a lot? But who's going to stop Steph Curry? Who's going to stop Klay Thompson? Who's going to stop Kevin Durant? Who's going to stop even like a Draymond? I mean, who's going to stop? And then who's going to stop Nick Young off the bench? And you got, Quinn Cook, and you got Livingston, and I mean, oh man, yeah. I'm being nice by giving them a game. I'm thinking LeBron's just going to play crazy in like Game 3 in Cleveland and beat them. But no, this is all Golden State. They're going to win the 3rd title unless something crazy happens.
Yeah, but like you were saying, Golden State has too many stars. They have 4 main stars right now. 1 is down. They still have 3 main stars that could be, that can be starting roles in any other team in the NBA. Now, back to the West.
Who's down? Who's down?
No one's down. I'm saying hypothetically, if one was down, if Steph Curry went out, they still have stars.
Yeah, true. Okay, I get it.
Now, back to the Western Conference Finals. Do you think Houston was Chris Paul? I mean, having Chris Paul missing, do you think Houston would have had a better chance?
Well, yeah, they're up 3-2. I mean, I was actually shocked at how they kept on winning in that series. To be honest with you, I probably didn't watch it closely. I've had a lot of stuff on my plate, so I didn't watch it as closely. But, man, I mean, Houston was ahead 3 games, too. I mean, they were ahead at halftime game 6. By 11, they were up by, 13 in game 7 at halftime. So Houston not only could have, they almost did. Yeah, it was actually very impressed with Houston. I mean, James Harden and his cast of characters of Trevor Ariza and Eric Gordon and Chris Paul when he was healthy, obviously. And who's the big guy, the center? He did really well in that series. Who's that center guy?
Yeah, let me look up.
Is it Capella?
Yeah,
Capella, right?
Capella, that's correct.
Yeah, and he played terrific. So, they would have been. I really don't, especially if Chris Paul would have come back healthy. I think because there's not as many stars, and they're not at all a very good defensive team as a unit, that them against Cleveland would have been a more interesting series. Like, I think that matchup is better. You know how everything. So many sports matchup makes games. Matchup makes games, or make if it's like boxing or MMA, it makes a fight. Sometimes what matches with one team doesn't match with another. The thing that they could do that I think kept them in is, for one, they had very good guard play, because you have Chris Paul and James Harden, 2 of the best guards in the NBA. You have very good shooters, Harden himself, Paul himself, Ariza, Gordon. And see, they could shoot with Golden State. They could match the guard play with Golden State. And then Capella really outplayed them inside, which they got. So they had little things that they matched up pretty good with Golden State. It was a tougher, I was shocked. I would have said Golden State in 6. And one of those 6, and definitely was the better team. I mean, with Chris Paul up there, it was a very even matchup. And yeah, who knows? If Chris Paul had been healthy, you just never know. Can't say he wasn't healthy. So, but yeah, but at the same time, against Cleveland, LeBron James would have really easily got off. And because they weren't great, on defense, maybe you could see a J.R. Smith or Jose Calderon coming out, and George Hill and making some shots, and Tristan Thompson might have been able to stop Capella inside. And so that series, I could see Houston versus Cleveland going 7 games. Whereas they just don't match up well with Golden State does not match up well. This current roster especially does not. Cleveland does not match up well, this current roster, with Golden State. They just don't have good guard play. And they've 2 of the best guards in the league. The 2 best shooting guards in the league, in Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry. So this is just not a good matchup at all. So, and then if LeBron is having to guard Durant all day, that'll wear him out. So it's just not a good matchup. This is like Cleveland versus Houston would have been an eventful finals. I just don't see this one being eventful.
So you think this NBA finals will probably be very boring?
I just think they're going to wipe them off the floor. I think it's going to be 5 games. Wasn't last year 5 games, or did it go 6 games?
It was 5 games last year. You are correct.
It was 5, yeah, and they whooped them. And I think it's the same this year. I think last year you had Kyrie Irving. This year, who do you have in the backcourt?
You have Tristan Thompson.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Jeff Green, J.R. Smith, George Hill.
I keep on forgetting Jeff. Yeah, Jeff Green is I keep on forgetting now. I'm not mentioning him, but yeah. Did you say Tristan Thompson in the backcourt?
No, sorry. No. No, he's a center.
If he's playing in the backcourt, they have real issues.
It's Miami, man.
Sidekick. Khloe Kardashian.
Anyways, Alabama coach Nick Saban does not like the transfer rule.
Oh, college football.
Yeah.
College football.
Nick Saban crystallized Tuesday why there absolutely has to be a transfer reform when he defended his ability to block graduate student Brandon Kennedy from transferring within the conference during a press conference at the SEC spring meetings. Kennedy is a backup center, reportedly wants to transfer from Alabama to Auburn or Tennessee. And the SEC rules require all transfers to sit out a year if they move within the conference, but that's hardly the issue. What do you think about the transfer rule? Should be changed, reformed?
Are you talking about the grad transfer rule or the transfer rule?
The transfer rule.
So you're talking about just transfer, because the kid Brandon Kennedy is a grad transfer.
Oh, okay. Well,
I believe.
Yeah, let's go with that one.
And I know he hit on a couple different subjects. Yes, I saw the interview. My thoughts on Nick Saban. Well, obviously Nick Saban's maybe the greatest college football coach of all time. You can't argue it. I mean, what is it? 6 titles now. Is it 6 titles? Yeah, I believe it's 6.
Correct. Yes, he tied up Bear Bryant.
Just to start. Let's just start there. But he's not afraid to speak his mind, and sometimes will make very blanketed statements. I saw him talk on the transfer rule in general. I think what he was referencing, I'm not sure I'm totally correct, but I believe he said, first off, when I saw him, he was talking about grad transfers, and he said, I think that if someone grad transfers, they should sit out a year. If they want to go to another school, that's up to them. But he's like, we're here as coaches putting them in classes, trying to get their schooling done, and then they end up graduating early, and then they end up leaving. He's like, there has to be something to protect, not student athlete, but coaches for the work that they put into student athlete. I kind of agree with him there. Because the thing is if a kid feels like he's not getting the best opportunity to showcase his abilities, and he graduated, he should be able to go wherever he wants and obviously play immediately because he graduated from the one institution and transferred to another. So when Saban talked about that, I didn't agree. I believe you might be referencing also he did say something about if someone wanted to transfer, they could transfer, but it's just not fair and they can't transfer in conference. I'm not sure if he said that, but if he did say that, I don't agree with that either. Because if a student athlete decides, hey, this is not working out for me, I'm not going to get in playing time, and I want to transfer, he should be able to transfer from wherever he wants. And I know that, I have heard about them barring them from transferring in conference, and if a kid's going to already be punished, so he's not a grad transfer, he's just a regular transfer, and he's going to already be punished for transferring by having to sit out a year, then he should be able to go wherever he wants.
I agree.
If he desires, yeah.
And
I've heard of that, and I know Mark Richt did that to because one of Miami's guys transferred to Oregon. I'm a huge Oregon Ducks fan, DJ Johnson, and Richt, he couldn't transfer anywhere in conference. He had to transfer to a West Coast school, and he didn't get the waiver, so he has to sit out a year. And I'm just like, well, he ended up transferring to Oregon. I'm glad he's a super good player, but I was just like, why was he barred from transferring to other teams within the ACC if he wanted to? I don't agree with that. I don't know where coaches are coming off of that.
You had that same experience, right? Did you transfer in college as well?
I was JUCO. Yeah, I played junior college ball, and then I transferred to a 4-year school. That's totally different. Because at a JUCO, you only can play 2 years. You have to transfer.
Oh, okay, good.
So,
yeah.
After you're done with the 2 years, you got to transfer to a 4-year. You're going to transfer a 4-year, or you're done playing. So I had to transfer, and I got 3 scholarship offers, and I went to Liberty.
Yeah, I mean, if I was a coach or a manager, I would not let one of my players transfer within the same conference. I prefer go to the ACC or like the Big East or whatever. But within the conference, it gets a little bit personal.
So you don't think they should transfer within a conference?
Correct.
You think they should have the right to block them?
Correct.
Really?
I mean, me as a manager,
Okay, but then
yeah.
So you think so you agree with Saban then?
I agree with Nick Saban. I mean, it's just, there's a risk, obviously, and everything, but I think, the guy going to another school with the same conference, especially Auburn, and you don't want to, and, he could, probably tell them some inside information or whatever, but.
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, I do understand. Okay, now that you've said that, I do understand. That does make a little sense in conference because you could literally be bringing to them certain plays, especially if it's the same coaching staff. Like you left and the same coaching staff is left over at like Alabama. You're like, well, yeah, that you had a point there. I didn't even think of that. So yeah, actually, when you have that point, that does change the tune a little bit. That's probably not fair. Okay, but I'm still saying his rule about the grad transfer, saying you had to sit out a year, I didn't agree with him on that. He made if you went anywhere, you had to sit out a year because you graduated, because the coaches had you graduate too fast. And I'm like, what are you talking about, Nick? I'm like, if a kid graduates early and he decides that he has a better opportunity, again, Oregon Duck fan, we just got an Alabama kid. Dallas Warmack, who played for Alabama, just grad transferred to Oregon. And I'm like, he wasn't playing at Alabama. He had been there 3 years. He had not started at all. He had gotten some playing time, but he had not started in 3 years. And he felt like he could play somewhere else. And he graduated. He graduated from Alabama. I mean, like, why can't he do that? And he because he's a graduate, he doesn't have to sit out a year. And I'm like, I don't think he should have to sit out a year. He worked his butt to graduate, and he currently has not started one game in 3 years at Alabama. Why the heck would he not go somewhere else to try to maybe play? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. You think for a regular transfer, you think a backup quarterback, even though he wants to transfer to another school, do you think he should work harder for that starting position?
Well, okay. It's tough to say because right now there was an article in 247 about the amount of, I think of the 2015 or 16 class, there was like 8 5-stars, or was it 17? It was one of the last couple of classes. There was like 8 5-star quarterbacks and like 5 of them transferred. And there's a couple different thoughts about it. For instance, sometimes I do have the mentality of like, man, just because you're not starting today, maybe your opportunity will open up and you'll get your chance to start. That's one. The number 2 thought is, what if you just all of a sudden, for instance, Clemson. So Clemson had 3 quarterbacks transfer. A 4-star, I think it's Bryce or something, a 3-star. Well, you're like, that's crazy. Why are they all transferring? Are they going to back up? Maybe they should work harder. But the kid that's coming in is Trevor Lawrence. He's the number 1 rated player in the nation. If you saw him play in the spring game, if you saw him play in the U.S. Army Bowl, the kid is really, really good. The chances of one of those guys playing over him are not very good. Like, he might come in as a true freshman and take away Kelly Bryant's job, who led Clemson to the playoff last year. That's how good he is. I mean, he's probably in 3 years going to be the number 1 player drafted. I mean, injuries can happen, a lot can happen, but he really is that good. I mean, he's a very, very good player. So if a kid sees that in front of him, he really realizes that the only way he's going to play is if that guy gets injured. Shouldn't he probably maybe transfer? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he can work hard. He can work harder all he wants, but if the other kid is just better, maybe there is sometimes in life maybe you have to concede, and then if you want to play, you just have to go somewhere else. And so, like with the Clemson, with the Clemson situation, I totally understand why all those kids transfer. Now, Blake Barnett he went to Alabama at first, and then didn't get the starting position right away. So then he transferred out to Arizona State, and then when he didn't get the job at Arizona State, he's transferring again. Now, him? No, he's just basically every time he's not being handed a starting job, he's just transferring out. I mean, basically he quit. So, yeah, to him, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And because the guys that are starting were not like Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is probably going to lose his job to Tua Tagovailoa after his national championship game performance. And then you have he went out to Arizona State, and Manny Wilkins is pretty.
So what do you think? What do you think that Jalen Hurts should do from Alabama? Do you think he should transfer out because he knows Tua might start next season?
Yeah, that's tough. You know, Jalen Hurts obviously started as a true freshman. He started, I believe, let's do my math here. I think he started 15, I'm trying to do that. He started about 28 games so far in his career. I think his record is something like 26-2. He started as a true freshman, sophomore, led them to the national title again, back-to-back years. But then you have Tua Tagovailoa, who I could have told you. I watched him on the camp circuit in high school. I watched him play in the U.S. Army game. He's very good. He's just one of those guys that he makes plays. And he happened to not be having a good game. I always thought that Jalen Hurts was a little bit erratic, especially as a passer. I thought every time he faced a good defense, whether it be Auburn, whether it be Clemson, whether it be Georgia, he had trouble making plays in the passing game. And that's what was happening. He was not making any plays, especially in the passing game, and they were kind of just daring him to pass. And he couldn't do it. And then you bring in Talavega, and Talavega brings him back from, 13-0 at halftime, and he ends up winning that thrilling overtime victory. I would be very shocked if Jalen beat out Tua Talavega. Do I think he's going to transfer? His dad definitely hinted at it. He would have to sit out a year, but then he still would have 2 years of eligibility. I don't know. It's one of those tough situations. That's a tough one because you have to understand Jalen Hurts. You've started 28 games. You've been like 26-2. You led them to 2 national titles, and then you lose your spot at halftime, and the guy wins the national title, and then he eventually maybe takes your spot. I mean, that'd be tough. That'd be a tough pill to swallow. I don't know. That's a tough. What do you think he should do?
I think he should stay. Compete for that spot. Okay. I think he's proven it in the past, 26 games, like you were saying. 2 hours young as well. I don't see Nick Saban using both, but who knows? Nick Saban's unpredictable.
No, I don't either.
Like the championship, but probably not. I would just stay in Alabama. Stay with it, compete hard, and work on your throwing arm in the summer.
Do you think that Jalen Hurts can beat Tua out?
I think he can. I think he has experience. Now, Tua, all I've seen him is just one game. Actually, a half of a game. So we'll see what happens. Things could happen. I'll stick with it. You're in Alabama, the greatest team ever. And if Jalen Hurts could compete, who knows? He might play a few games next season, maybe all. I don't know.
Yeah, I think because I saw Tua play like I said, I saw him play in high school. I saw him play on 7-on-7 camps. I saw him play in the U.S. Army. So I actually was very. I knew a lot about Tua. He went to Marcus Mariota's high school in St. Louis, Hawaii. So I think Tua's pretty good. I don't think Jalen's beating him out. I think Tua's just a little better quarterback. So, but I kind of do agree with you. I'm like, don't just transfer out. Don't just quit. Like, give it all you got. And if you lose, it is what it is. Like, just stay. You know what I'm saying?
Stay the course.
It's tough to say that. Yeah, because he started 28 games, and all of a sudden to go from starting to not playing is tough. But I don't think he's going to start. And if you want my opinion, I think if he doesn't start, he will transfer.
Yeah.
Do I think he should? Not necessarily, but I think he will. But we'll see.
Hey, competition's good. It makes the team stronger, makes you stronger, and we'll see what happens tonight. Game 2 of the NHL Stanley Cup Finals. Vegas is up 1-0 on the series. Who do you have tonight? Washington Capitals at the Vegas Knights.
I'm going to be transparent here, man. I am the worst person. I love sports. Probably the only sport I don't love is hockey. So I'm not going to give you I don't really know a lot. So let's start. But it's a cool story. Vegas made it as an expansion team to the Stanley Cup. That's pretty cool. Alexander Ovechkin, I know enough about hockey to know that he's probably top 3 player over the last decade in the NBA. NBA. Top 3 player over the last decade in the NHL with Crosby, and like last few years, Connor McDavid's been good. Man, that's a good story. They're head 1-0. The Knights are.
Yes, they're 1-0. The Knights defeated Washington Capitals 6-4 2 days ago.
So are people touring? Are people rooting for it? Because I know it's such a cool story if an expansion franchise wins the Stanley Cup, but then Alexander Ovechkin is probably maybe the face of hockey along with Crosby over the last decade. So who are people wanting to win?
ESPN wants Vegas, that's for sure.
Who do you want to win?
I'm going for Vegas. My uncle lives in Vegas. He's a huge Knight fan, so I'm going for Vegas.
Yeah, I'm going to pick them. Okay, fine. I'll pick them to win tonight, and I'll pick them to win the series because it's an expansion team that's gone to the Stanley Cup, so that's pretty cool.
And who takes Game 1 of the NBA Finals this Thursday?
Cleveland. No, I'm just kidding. I'm playing. No, Golden State. That's how I have it. Golden State, Game 1, Golden State, Game 2. Cleveland comes out, Rock comes out, plays their game of their life, wins Game 3, they lose Game 4, Golden State wins Game 4, Golden State wins Game 5. So that's how I have that series going.
Warriors in 5. And the quick one, big deal or not a big deal, Brady missing OTAs.
I didn't even hear about that. Not a big deal.
It is optional. It's voluntarily.
Not at all.
And
Brady's just chilling.
Did you watch the Madrid-Liverpool game on Saturday?
Oh, that's okay. Soccer is the other one. No, I did not. Soccer, okay. Honestly, you can talk to me about almost any sport, but okay, 3 sports: NASCAR, soccer, and hockey.
Did you watch Indy 500?
No, like I said, okay, NASCAR, Formula 1, whatever kind of race car driving. If you want to talk tennis, we got the French Open going on right now.
Yeah, who do you think who do you think will win the French Open?
Who do I think is going to win the French Open? The guy who's won it 10 times or 9 times. How many times has Rafael Nadal won it? How many times has Rafael Nadal won the French Open?
Let's see. Nadal, French Open.
It's 9 or 10. He's won it the most of anyone in the history of tennis. He's won it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. It'd be 11 more. He has won more French Opens than any other player has won a major event in tennis. He's won, obviously, more French Opens than anyone. He's won the French Open more than anyone else has won a particular major. He is the king of clay. Rafael Nadal wins. I'm a huge Novak Djokovic fan. Novak went to the Italian Open. He went to the or was it Madrid Open? No, Italian Open, I believe. He went to the semifinals, lost to Nadal. He's looking better. Obviously, Novak's one of the greatest players of all time. He's probably 4th. I think he's behind Federer, Nadal, Sampras for majors all time, but he's playing better. And that's the only guy that could possibly shock Nadal. I don't think he will. But he has beaten him at the French before, and he has won the French before. So that would be the only possible upset. It would be cool. I love Novak, and Novak's my favorite. But I think Nadal wins his 11th French Open.
There you have it.
And Tiger might take the Memorial. You watching it?
Okay.
Played the Memorial good.
You're calling Woods.
Tomorrow at 8. I think he might.
Hopefully he'll catch his break.
I think this might.
And
this might be his first victory.
Speaking about hockey, you're from Minnesota, so it's kind of ironic you don't like hockey.
Yeah, I know. I don't like Minnesota sports. Everyone up here likes hockey and skiing and snowboarding, and I like basketball, football, boxing, all sports. Like we're like for football, we're like terrible. Terrible when it comes to high school and college football, and I love football. So
mainstream.
I'm born in the wrong state.
You should come to Miami. We like all sports, even hockey.
I know.
How can people reach you, Tyler?
TTT Turner 2 on Twitter.
Twitter.com. Tyler Turner. Tomorrow, Game 1 begins of the NBA Finals. Cleveland at Golden State Warriors. The fourth matchup of the NBA Finals. And we'll see what happens. Thanks, Tyler, for joining on the Sportscast.
All right. Thanks for having me, dude.